welcome back, y'all. I'm hitting y'all with the late night upload. Um, there were a lot of things I want to talk about today, but got a little busy during the day and didn't have time to talk about them until now. But wanted to get this off my chest before I went to bed. Let's first start off with the Arsenal robbery. Were Arsenal robbed? I don't believe so at all. I don't believe that Gabriel Jesus goal or pin in the box that Arsenal fans are claiming was a robbery. That's not a foul. That's very, very soft. If it was called in real time by the on-field referee, then fine. Maybe I give it to you. Then I'd be like, all right, you know what? The on-field ref called it as a pin. It's hard to overturn. Give him the pin. But since it wasn't called a pin, that's really soft to then overturn and be like, oh, that's an egregious error. You have to overturn that because it's so bad. It wasn't one of those. It was, Jesus went for the ball. Luis also went for the ball, and he just got a little bit of his foot. It didn't impact the play at all, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't believe so. The next thing, the Kai Havertz goal. I mean, that's clear as day a handball. I don't know what the argument is for it to not be. People are saying that there's not conclusive evidence that it hit his hand, but during the game, the replays all show they went through so many different angles, replayed it multiple times, and it clearly just taps his hand. I mean, people are saying, well, it bounced off Matty Cash first. In the rules, that doesn't matter because it's close proximity. The defender is allowed to have it touch his hand in those circumstances. But the person who scores the goal is not ever allowed to have the ball hit their hand because it's a direct handball that leads to a goal. And it's clear Kai Havertz hit the ball into the back of the net. He runs off celebrating. The replay show that it clearly hits off Kai Havertz's boot. I mean, what more proof do you need? They're bouncing back and forth. I get he doesn't have time to move his hand out the way, but the rules clearly state that the person who scores the goal can't have a handball involved in the buildup of the goal, and that's what happened. Kai Havertz smacked his hand and then was the first one to kick it into the back of the net. If it was Eddie Nketiah, that goal stands, but it wasn't. There's no robbery by that. By the rules of the law, is it a flawed rule? Maybe, I don't know. I kind of personally agree with it, but it's a foul. I mean, yeah, it's a foul, no goal. It was the correct call by the ref on the field, and it was the correct call by the VAR room. And people are complaining about, or Arsenal fans are complaining about, well, the VAR shouldn't have overturned the call. They didn't. They didn't overturn the call. Let's just say that there was no conclusive evidence from the VAR. They stuck with the on-field decision. The on-field decision was handball, no goal. So what are we talking about? It's just crazy. Just accept defeat. It's okay. You lost to a good Aston Villa team, a team that's now 15 games on a 15-game winning streak at home. There's no shame in losing to them. Granted, you lost top spot today, but I mean, let's be honest. There's probably going to be some mix-up in the top four from now till the end of May. There's going to be times where you're going to pick up number one again. It's okay. It happens. You can't stay up top for 365 days and expect it. Like, that's just impossible. Let's talk about the game itself now. Aston Villa, I don't think we're dominated by Arsenal like most people think. Personally, I might be giving Unai Emery too much credit, but I believe after Aston Villa scored so early that they were just content with holding a 1-0 lead. They just wanted to frustrate Arsenal, make the game as gritty and grimy as possible. They weren't really too concerned about scoring a second one because I don't think they believed that they needed a second to win the game. They knew that the home crowd and their defense was going to be staunch enough to be able to hold out and see out the game. Now, I could be wrong. Like I said, I could be giving Arteta too much credit. I mean, Emery too much credit. But that's just how I see it. I don't think that they respected Arsenal's attack as much as most people believe. I think that they knew, all right, Arsenal are going to have to create a lot of big chances before they actually score one because they have no clinical scorers on that team. Arteta's subs were kind of a little bit weird because I know he wasn't on the touchline, but we all know that he was making the decisions. Subbing Martinelli off for Reece Nelson, subbing off Gabriel Jesus for Eddie Nketiah. They're like-for-like changes. Why are you doing that? When you're losing the game 1-0, you need to make a difference. You need to change the formation. Take off a midfielder to add a striker. Take off a defender to add an attacker. those are the kinds of substitutions that you need. You need to add more offense to it, not like for like changes and hope something different happens, because it just won't. This isn't Football Manager. This isn't FIFA, where it's like, oh, I'll just sub this guy off for this guy. No, you have to do something and improve something, change the formation, something, make it more attacking, not just like for like. And as we saw, it didn't work out. They lost the game 1-0. Now, that we got that out the way, let's talk about Pep Guardiola. This man's losing his mind. It's honestly crazy. I was scrolling through Twitter, or X, sorry, just a few minutes ago before making this video, and I was baffled by what I saw. He did a press conference with Fabrizio. I don't think he did it with Fabrizio Romano, but Fabrizio Romano reposted the press conference, and I'll read you what the quote says, paraphrasing from what Pep said. He said during his interview today, "The only team who's going to fail if they don't win the Premier League is City. The rest, big success. At the end, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, they don't win anything. It's normal. City should win. Difficult to handle that over years." That's paraphrasing. And I was looking at that, and I'm like, hold on. That's just so random. That sounds so weird. Like, why did he just randomly go on that? So I looked at the full clip, and he just continued to just blab on about this nonsense of how all these other teams don't win anything. And it's just City. Like, he's scared. That's all this is. Is he's scared. He's insecure. He knows that his team's the most vulnerable it's been in some years, and now that it's no longer a one-team race to the title, it's 3, 4 other teams along with him. Now he's scared. Now he's like, oh my God, I have actual competition this time. More than just Liverpool. More than just a 1 year of Arsenal. It's 3 teams who can now compete against me. And the others who aren't in the title race, who may not be in the title race, are still going to take points off Man City. No, there's a respect for City still, but there's no fear for City anymore, I believe. This, at least for this season right now. Maybe once KDB comes back, that can change. But we're seeing teams attack City. Chelsea did it. Liverpool respected them a little too much in the first half, but then second half attacked them, got that tying goal. Aston Villa played them off the pitch, attacked them. So we're just seeing Spurs went out and attacked them. So we're just seeing teams attack City. There's a vulnerability there, and Pep sees it, and I think that's why he's making these strange comments. But let's also go into what did he say? It's a success for other teams to fail. When has that ever been a success? And I see City fans are like, oh yeah, no other team's going to sack their manager for finishing second. No. Who's sacking Pep for finishing second? Who's sacking Pep for finishing 4th or 5th? No one. You're not sacking Pep. Just like you wouldn't sack Klopp, you wouldn't sack Emery, you wouldn't sack Arteta for finishing 2nd to 5th. It just happens. It happens. Sometimes you just don't win the league. And it's like, all right, whatever. You don't win the league, you're close. You keep you respectful. All right, you push again for next season. It just happens. Granted, sure, you won it three years in a row. You won it 5 times in the last 6 years. Good job. But at the same time, you're not a bigger club than any of the teams you just named. Chelsea are the most successful team in this decade, in the last 2 decades. You're not even the most successful team in your city. You have to start somewhere. You can't just be like, oh, well, we've been dominant for the last 7 years. Every other team's been dominant for the last 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years. And now you're just like, well, it's success for them to finish second. I promise you, Klopp is not in the locker room telling his guys, I know we're first right now, but man, if we just finish second, that's a big success. No, they're shooting for the Premier League title. I promise you, Arteta's not in the Arsenal locker room saying, oh man, you guys, let's just ride out the second place. Good job, guys. No, they're trying to win the titles too. Chelsea, granted, they suck right now, but let's not act like 5 years ago when Roman was here, they weren't the exact same way. They were more ruthless than City. They would. Conte won the league. Next season, he sacked. Roberto Di Matteo won a Champions League, sacked. Granted, he sucked, but sacked. Jose Mourinho was arguably the best manager in the world, sacked. Just because it just didn't work in Roman's opinion anymore. Both times. It's just like, this is crazy. because now you're about to lose one title, one league title. Now everyone else is insignificant, and finishing second is an achievement for everyone else. You're crazy. This isn't the Bundesliga. I know a lot of people will like to be like, "Oh, it's the Bundesliga. There's no real competition." It's stupid. It's stupid. Okay, uh, it's it's just fear and in Pep's heart because this is uncalled for. It's unwarranted. This makes me more confident in being able to say that City aren't going to win the league this year, because if you're that fragile in a press conference, how fragile are you going to be when you drop another 3 points, right? Maybe you drop 2 points, or maybe you come out and beat Luton Town, all right? But then the next game you come out, you tie again, and then you tie another game, and then maybe you lose another, but you don't aren't able to rack up these wins like you believe that you can and that you have in previous years. You're only going to get more fragile and fragile and fragile, and you're going to try and take cheap shots at teams who are way bigger and more successful than Man City ever would be. No one cares what Man City does. All these other teams are like, hey, I'd rather Man City win than Liverpool or Arsenal or Chelsea or Man United, because who cares about Man City? So, I mean, it's just crazy. I think he's completely losing his head right now because no one takes second place as a success. If you're Aston Villa, sure, Aston Villa finishing second is an accomplishment. When you're as big as Liverpool, it's not an accomplishment finishing second. When you're as big as Chelsea, it's not an accomplishment finishing second. And saying that he also went on to say that these teams don't win. What do you, sure, Arsenal don't win. Chelsea's the most successful team in the last 20 years. Liverpool had the most Champions Leagues out of any English team. Any English team, they have the second most Premier League titles, or first division titles. Say, man, you had the most. So I mean, what are you talking about that these teams don't want to win? It's just ridiculous. No one accepts mediocrity when you're a big club. It's just insecure and foolish. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know, do you think Arsenal were robbed? Do you think that Pep Guardiola is losing his mind? Let me know. I'll catch you guys in the next one.